Fourth grade, hello. We're going to be working out of your Success Center fourth grade pack. So make sure you have that and a pencil. And you're going to turn to page 78. We're going to work on page 78 and page 79. So let's go ahead and get started. If you don't have those things, pause the video and go run and get them. I'm going to come up with a littler pen there. And let's go ahead and start. Remember, we're going to use the cube strategies. Don't ever try to solve a problem until you've read it, then understand it, and then solve it. So let's just read it right now. And it says, Josh wants to exercise a total of 50 minutes this week. He exercised for 25 minutes on Monday and 15 minutes on Tuesday. If M equals the number of minutes left to exercise, which equation can Josh use to find how much more time he should exercise? Now, we don't go immediately and find anything. We first come back up here and we do our cube strategy. So, he exercised a total of 50 minutes this week. That means that's all he did. That means his exercise for that week equals 50. Okay, so I'm going to put that above there so we make sure we know for sure he exercised for 50, exactly equal to 50. He exercised for 25 minutes on Monday and 15 minutes on Tuesday. And M is going to equals the minutes left to exercise. I didn't pick up minutes there. Minutes left to exercise. So now we need to know which equation can he use. So we're going to choose from the equations down here. And here's a really big hint to be able to get rid of a few of the ones that we even have to work on. Up here it said he had a total of 50. That means it equaled 50. We need to get rid of anything that doesn't equal 50. Look at A. A doesn't equal 50. A equals M. All right? Well, let's just get rid of that. This one, it doesn't equal 50. It equals M. That's not what we're trying to find, okay? Well, we are trying to find M, but the equation isn't set up properly for that, okay? So these two equations are out because they didn't equal 50. And that's a good way to start off. Now we're left with two equations. So we need to see which one would help us. So how would we solve it over here? Well, we know that if you put Monday and Tuesday, and then we had whatever day was left right here, it's going to have a number 2. So we're not sure what day of the week that was, but it was a day of the week. And Monday equaled 25. And Tuesday equaled 15. What are we going to have to do? Well, we know that if we were to put all of these lumped together, it makes 50. So are we going to need an adding problem or a subtracting problem? We're going to need adding, of course, and we would have to have the 25 plus the 15 plus whatever day of the week that is. It doesn't really matter, but we know that they wanted to name this number M for what was left. Okay, then we have a problem that looks like this. Okay, so this is just to get us used to seeing how these problems look. Now, let's look at number 2. Mr. Arthur teaches 4th and 5th grade math. He takes twice as much time, T, to grade the 5th grade homework as he does to grade the 4th grade homework. Mr. Arthur takes 90 minutes to grade all of the homework. Now, so we know that this is like our total, right? So I want to remember Mr. Arthur takes 90 minutes for all of it. So that means we need something that, what? equals 90. We might be able to eliminate some things by knowing that. Let's go back up here and see what else we know. He takes twice as much time. Twice. If you do something twice, that's times 2. Twice as much time, T, so the amount of time is going to be represented by the letter T. So we want to circle it because essentially it's a number. To grade the 5th grade homework than he does to grade the 4th grade homework. That means when we come and we look at this picture, we don't know how much time necessarily this is, and we're not going to worry about it right now, but we know that 4th grade's time is this big, okay? This big. And 5th grade's time, of course, is going to be 2 of those, and that would mean times 2, right? And then all together, if you put all of these together, and that's what this little sign right here means, okay, all together, or the equals, okay, we're going to gather them up, it all equals 90. So let's come down here to the equation, and which equation is going to help us figure that out, okay? Well, we can get rid of the ones, can't we, that don't equal 90. Okay, we only want something that equals 90, and the only things that equal 90 are A and B. So that's going to help us match up to here. Now, if we call this T, and that means that this little box is a T, and this little box is a T, okay, that kind of looks like a plus sign. Let me make it look a little bit more kind of like a little curvy T here. I don't want you to get confused. Okay, and so this is 2 of the T's. Okay. That means it was times 2. So if we take this and we were to say that T is 4th grade and 5th grade is T times 2, there's a special way that we can look at that. And it doesn't have to be written like this, 2 times T. In algebra, and this is kind of an algebraic type form, we can do this. We can say if we place a number by a letter, that means that 2 is multiplied by this letter. So that's why it's called 2T, okay? So if we take, and we look down here, are we going to add this T plus T plus T, or this T plus the 2 times T, or are we going to subtract T minus 2 times T, or 2 times T minus T, to make all of it equal 90 minutes? What do you think? Are we going to add or subtract for that? To make this over here, all means total. Well, we want to add. So that was a clue for adding. And so we were able to narrow it down to 2 different answers, but this one didn't fit what this picture was doing. All right, now we're going to come up here, and I'm going to have to shrink my page just a little bit so we can see this whole entire problem. So give me a sec, and I'm going to shrink this page so we can look at it better. Okay, my page is shrunk now. Sorry you have to look at it so tiny, but you do have your own page 78 also. So you can look on your page 78 as well as looking on the video here. So it says, Mary earned a total of 192 points on her math test and reading test. She earned twice as many points on her math test as she did on her reading test. Which strip diagram correctly shows how many points Mary earned on each test? So we don't even look at our answer choices yet. We have to go back and figure out how we're going to understand the problem. So let's look. Mary earned a total of 192 points. We should be ready to look at that again and say, okay, it's a total of 192. That means everything has to add up to 192, correct? And so that was on her math and her reading test. Okay, so a total of those together. So that means that we put the math and reading together. And so I put a little plus sign in there. She earned twice as many points on her math test as she did on her reading test. And what did we talk about the word twice meaning? Twice means times 2. So, which is bigger, her math or her reading? Twice as many points on her math. That means math is twice as much as the reading. All right, so I don't want to write m times 2 right there because it's going to be, it'll look a little different. But we know that math needs to be the biggest thing. Okay, so let me do a little bit of underlining. Twice as many points on her math test as she did on her reading test. Which strip diagram correctly shows how many points Mary earned on each test? Just keep in mind, anytime you see a strip diagram, the things inside of the strip diagram have to all add up. All strip diagrams use adding as their base. So whatever happens in these, you have to remember, it adds up to the big thing. So let's take a look at our choices, okay? So on this one, it shows and it says reading is this little part. So we need to label that R. And then math is this little part. And that is 2. That's like the same size as reading. And that's the same size as reading. So that's like 2 readings there. Okay. So math is twice, that's supposed to be an M there. Math is twice as big as reading there. And do they all add up to 192? Okay, they do. Let's make sure we're looking at this correctly. So that's when you come down and you look at the rest of what you've been given. Okay? So here it shows math. But here, reading has 2 boxes that are the same size as the math boxes. It's not what our problem said. Math is supposed to be twice as many points. We know that can't be it. Even though everything adds up to 192, pictures aren't right here. Math is this 1 box, reading is 2 boxes. It doesn't work. Okay? So now we have reading here. But this little section here adds up to 192. So these 2 boxes together all by themselves make 192. That's not it at all. Okay, that means if you put all these together, it'd be more than 192. You'd have to take those 2 boxes and put the reading with it. So let's look at the last one. Here's math. And then it shows just these 2 boxes by themselves make 192. No, all of the boxes all together have to make 192. That's not going to work. All right, so we've narrowed it down. We've seen why these aren't the answer and why these are the answer. So let's go on to the next page. The next page is page 79. On page 79, these are very similar to page 78. And what I'd like for you to do is to solve number 1 and number 2, and those are the only 2 problems on page 79. Pause the video, solve them completely using your cube strategies and making sure you've looked through every answer choice, then turn on the video again and see if you've gotten them right, because I'm going to have them solved and you're going to see if you're right or not. Okay, so pause the video, solve your problems, and then come right back. All right, I hope you really did solve page 79 by yourself, and I have it all worked out here. So I haven't circled the exact correct answer yet, but I'm going to go over each of the answer choices. So on here, Izzy has 16 books in her bedroom. Her older sister, Alexis, has 5 more. More is an adding cue. 5 more than 3 times as many books as Izzy. So that means we're going to have to use 3 times and the 5 more in the same thing for Alexis. It says, which strip diagram correctly shows how many books each girl has? Okay. So we know that Alexis has to have 3 times, or times 3 as much, but also she has to have 5 more than times 3. So we're going to have to tack on a 5 more than times 3. So if we come here, Izzy has 16, but right here Alexis has the same and just adds 5 more. No, we need 3 times that much. That can't be our answer. Right here, Izzy has 16. Alexis has this box that's the exact same size, so that's still 16, and then a plus 5 plus 5. Didn't say she had 10 more, she just has 5 more. This would have made her having 10 more. That won't work. Let's look here. Now, Izzy has 16. Alexis has 3 of those same size boxes. This is looking good. But do we have 5 more than 3 times as many? No, we don't. So that one's not going to work. It was close though. So this one better be it, right? So we have Izzy has 16 and Alexis has 3 times as many plus 5 more. You see how that one worked out, and it matches what our problem said. So let's go over to this one. It says the students in Casey's class wore red, white, or blue shirts. Casey counted 2 times as many white shirts as he did red shirts. So the white shirts were being compared to the red shirts. That's why I have an arrow by the red over here to remind myself that everything in this problem is going to be compared to the red. Okay, and it says he counted 4 more blue shirts than red shirts. So I gave myself a little bit of a think over here. Okay, there are 28 students in Casey's class. Which diagram correctly shows how many of each color Casey counted? So I made everything equal 28 down here. Every one of these say they equal 28, so we're good on that. So everything equals 28 over here. It says it does. Okay. So we can't count anything out just because it doesn't equal 28. So darn, we can't eliminate anything yet. And I wrote that white is 2 times as much as red. Okay. So I need to think, oh, it's 2 times as much as red. But the blue is just 4 more. And more is an adding word. Times, of course, it's a multiplication word. So let's come here and let's look and see which one's going to help us have the right answer, okay? So it says here's red, and white has the same, but it's plus 2 more. We don't need white to be plus 2 with a little bitty 2 added on. We need it to be times 2. That means it needs to be the same size box as red 2 times. This one's not going to work, okay? But if I look down here at blue, I went ahead and investigated the blue as well. The blue has the same size box as the red, and it said plus 4. Well, that's what it is. Blue is just 4 more than the red. So you would take the red's box and put a plus 4 on it, and it works for us, and there's the plus 4. But everything has to be correct. White was wrong here. Here we go. Now red has a box, and white has 2 of them that are the same size, so 2 times. But blue only has just a 4 sitting there. No, blue is 4 more. So this time blue is wrong. So can't be the answer B. Let's look at it again. Oh, here's red's box again. White is 2 times because it takes 2 of the red boxes. And then blue has a same size box as red, and then a little 4 added on to the end. This looks like it's the one that we need. I'm going to circle that one up. Let's go ahead and check the D answer. Red and then 2 times as much as red, but this is 4 of those red boxes stacked together. So blue is wrong on this one because blue is only 4 more, which means plus 4. So we found our answer. So if you got it wrong, I hope that you understood how you got it wrong. And anyway, kind of help you understand the problem there. We're only going to have one video next week. I'll see you in that video, and I hope that you're keeping up with some Study Island as well. Visit it a couple of times a week and spend a little bit of time on there too. But until then, I'll see you later and have a great week. Bye-bye.